All right. Welcome to my channel. I am Jeremy Loeb. I am an animal rights activist. Welcome back. If you've been here before, this is the fifth episode of my podcast slash YouTube channel. And if you're watching this, I believe about half my audience so far is listening to this as a podcast, and about half of them are watching it as a YouTube channel. So if you're watching this, you'll already notice it's slightly different. And that's that every time I've done one of these more monologues, which I'm releasing on Saturdays, I've had the lights off. And the reason I have the lights off is because I like the ambiance when I'm telling a story. But today, I don't think I'm going to tell a story because there was so much that happened over the past week that I want to react to in the animal rights movement that I'm going to leave the lights on. So if I still have steam at the end of this that I want to tell a story, then maybe we'll turn the lights off. But anyway, as I said, there was so much that happened over the past week. And before I get to that, I just want to say, if you haven't seen my other videos, this is a spin-off of a channel that I'm co-producing with Wayne Shung, who is the animal rights attorney, the co-founder of Direct Action Everywhere, the Simple Heart Initiative, just an incredible guy, animal rights leader. We have a YouTube channel started over there, and we just released an interview today, actually, as I'm recording this, with Richard Burgess, who is Vegan Gains, one of the most popular vegan YouTube influencers. And it was a really cool conversation, one that I was really thrilled to help make happen. And so please do go over to Wayne's channel and subscribe and watch that video because it was so cool. This was a case where two of the smartest people in the animal rights movement were sort of going toe to toe and having some pretty passionate disagreements, and still like ultimately respecting each other. And I thought that was just really cool to see. And so I'm really proud of that interview and proud of everybody involved in making it happen. So please do subscribe to Wayne's channel if you could. And as I said, I've been releasing interviews on Wednesdays and Saturdays. No, sorry, Wednesdays. I've been releasing interviews with animal rights activists. And then on Saturdays, I've been telling more stories. So last Wednesday, I released an interview with Natalie Fulton, who's a great activist and is with Pro Animal Future, working on ballot initiatives out in Denver, Colorado, to ban the fur industry and slaughterhouses there. Speaking of the fur industry, that is the main thing that I want to talk about today, because this past week, and it was actually last Sunday, that a major win was announced. And that was that Marc Jacobs finally announced that he would no longer be selling fur. This is after he reneged on a previous promise to be out of the fur industry completely. So on Sunday, after weeks of pressure from activists who had converged in New York City to annoy the ever-loving shit out of these any store that was affiliated with Marc Jacobs, basically, they finally got to Marc Jacobs. The pressure became so much that Marc finally backed down and said he will no longer sell fur. And so there were just so many activists to credit for this. And the main people that I think deserve to be mentioned, well, the organizations rather, are the Coalition to Abolish the Fur Trade, CAFT, and Animal Activism Mentorship, AAM. Now, if there's other groups that were more instrumental and I wasn't so involved, so I wouldn't have known, I apologize if I'm not shouting out the right groups, but I believe the New York City Animal Defense League also deserves credit, and just a number of activists. And actually, I heard that at least 6 activists got arrested up in New York City because it was going so well and it was going so effectively that, of course, there's going to be a lot of pushback. So 6 activists did get arrested, one of whom was the legendary activist Peter Young, who is known for being one of the most famous members of the Animal Liberation Front, the ALF. And Peter would go around the country freeing mink from these horrific conditions on fur farms, and ended up doing prison time for that. And since doing prison time, has devoted himself to giving lectures, speeches, compiling books, and writing. And his books are just fantastic. And let me show one of them right here. Let me go ahead and share my screen so you can see it. And if you're just listening, I will describe what we're seeing here. So let me share this screen. And here it is, share. Okay. All right. Here it is, liberate. Animal liberation, above the law, stories and lessons on the animal liberation front, animal rights activism, and the animal liberation underground. Peter Young. When you read Peter Young, it just flows right off the page. He's such a good writer, such a great storyteller, and just such a fascinating guy. So I just really want to thank these activists who put themselves on the line, people like Peter and all the other people who got arrested in New York City, and the people who just devoted themselves to getting this win. It's just so inspiring that people are willing to, put themselves, basically in harm's way for these animals. Here's testimonials on this book, A Criminal by Nancy Grace. By the way, that interview he did with Nancy Grace of Fox News back in the day, oh my God, you got to watch it. I was almost going to play it here, but just go watch it. It's hilarious. Entitled Travel Pulse. An arrogant vigilante. He believes all of his illegal activities are justified as long as he hides behind the word compassion, says a Wisconsin farmer. A self-appointed spokesman for the Animal Liberation Front, an FBI agent, says. Unrepentant, says the Associated Press. Notorious ALF activist gone, vegan evangelist, San Francisco Magazine. This list just goes on and on and on. These are the testimonials included for the book Liberate, which is just hilarious. Okay, let me stop sharing that. Okay, there we go. Here I'm back. Okay, so great win in New York City. Congratulations, activists. That was amazing. Now, I have some special co-hosts with me today. What? Some co-hosts? Yeah, I do. All right, look. Ooh. Okay, if you're only listening, you're missing it right now because I've got a foxy friend right here. And another foxy friend. And another foxy friend. Oh my God, 3 of them. Wow, it's a whole family of foxes. And they're really excited about this win because why? Because this is another nail in the coffin of the fur industry. So this Foxy Pants family that I've got here are going to help me do something right quick. I've prepared something. Oh my God, this channel is getting more creative as we speak. Wow. Okay. What do I have here? Wow. Piece of cardboard. This is amazing. All right. Cardboard. Nail. Hammer. All right. Let's do Papa Fox here. Papa Fox here is going to do the honors, and he's going to help to put another nail in the coffin of the fur industry. This cardboard is just going to have to represent the coffin, okay? All right, so come on up here. Let's do this. All right. There, you got it. You got it. Hold on to it. Oh, shit. Hang on. This is not working as well as I thought it was going to work. Okay. We'll hold the nail. There it is. Nicely done. Nicely done, Mr. Foxy Pants. All right. Another nail in the coffin of the fur industry. Thank you, activists up in New York City. That's amazing. You inspire me every day. So great to see what can happen when activists focus and get together and keep the animals in mind at all times. It's just so amazing. So thank you. I really appreciate it. The animals appreciate it. And I know the next target in the campaign is going to be Max Mara. So Max Mara, if you want to be next, I mean, you could actually just go ahead and end this. So let me see. I've got the Marc Jacobs statement up here. He posted this last Sunday, and I'm going to read it because it's a doozy. All right. Let me just make sure my throat's all clear so I can, just really capture this because there's a lot of emotion here in this statement, okay? He starts out, "Dear bullies." Dear bullies. Oh my God. That's how you start your statement, Mark? Come on now. "Dear bullies, I feel your hate, anger, and pain. I respect your First Amendment rights as I do everyone's. What I cannot do is sit back and watch the unjust and hostile verbal, mental, and physical attacks on the innocent people I work with at Marc Jacobs. It pains me to give in to bullies. I had given in to bullies much of my young life. Unfortunately, in my current situation with a radical organization who will remain nameless." Thank you, CAFT. Thank you, AAM. You are not nameless on this channel. "Claiming to care about the lives of animals while endangering the well-being of innocent individuals and communities leaves me no choice but to give in to a bully." Okay, so this statement goes on, but I think it would be very appropriate to show Marc Jacobs what a bully looks like. All right, back to the screen share. All right, all right. We're going to watch something called The Fur Industry in 60 Seconds Flat. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look. Now, if you are only listening to this, this is going to be mostly auditory. You're going to be hearing the sounds of animals. And if you're watching this, this is going to be about 60 seconds. If you don't like to see upsetting images, skip forward for 60 seconds. Here we go. All right, thank you, PETA. PETA rocks, by the way. A lot of people say that PETA is, like I don't know. Everybody has something to say about PETA. PETA is so helpful and so amazing, and they put together this 60-second, just something that you can throw up anytime when you have to address something like this. Okay, so let's go back to Mark's statement. Now that we've shown Mark what bullying actually looks like, now let's remember and keep this in perspective a little bit. Here's what happened to Marc Jacobs over the past few weeks. He had some stores in New York City where activists, about maybe 50 activists, came in there and they had bullhorns and fake blood or whatever, and they made some noise, and this is what he considers to be bullying behavior and not what we saw on the screen here. Okay, so Mark, little perspective. Now, I do want to give credit to Mark because ultimately he's doing the right thing. But let's carry on with Mark's statement here. The facts, he says. Marc Jacobs has not used fur since 2018. I made a statement to WWD on April 26, 2018 in regards to my position on fur. I chose to work in upcycled fur when I collaborated with another brand in 2022. Whether that was a mistake or not is subjective. Mark, is it subjective, really? I think we see that that was a mistake. So Mark says, I have always done my best to listen and speak my truth and accept responsibility for my actions. This organization has made it clear that they will not stop their violence. Again, violence. Here's the word again. You know, I'm realizing there's a theme, you know, where people don't really understand what violence is. Now, I just showed 60 seconds of actual violence. Um, Using your voice is not violence. Um, yeah, I don't know. So it's just yeah, it's just strange that we have people who just don't understand what that is. I don't know. Anyway, while I don't condone the behavior of this organization, I will always do what I can to protect, honor, and respect the lives and well being of the people I work with. This is my statement. Marc Jacobs does not work in, use, or sell fur, nor will we in the future. And this was an edited statement. So I wonder what it said before. But anyway, he also includes bullying, the Wikipedia. Um, let's read that. Bullying is the use of force, coercion, hurtful teasing, or threat to abuse, aggressively dominate, or intimidate. The behavior is often repeated and habitual. One essential prerequisite is the perception by the bully or by others of an imbalance of physical or social power. This imbalance distinguishes bullying from conflict. Bullying is a subcategory of aggressive behavior characterized by hostile intent, imbalance of power, and repetition over a period of time. So, Mark, thank you for doing the right thing. And I wonder if you now understand that what was happening to the animals was a form of bullying far more than people just coming into your stores and making noise, because that's essentially what happened. So, anyway, congratulations, activists. And as I said, that's another nail in the fur industry. Max Mara, hey, I guess you're next. All right. Now, I want to bring up some other stuff. Okay. Well, first of all, I had some fun last week. Okay, so let's go to that. Let me share this screen here again. All right. Okay, stop screen. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I'm learning. I'm learning. Share screen, share screen. Okay, here's direct action everywhere's page. Oh, who's that? Who's that guy? Oh, there I am. Okay, so this past week I joined a long list. As you can see, if you scroll through here, this person, Pete, uh, this person over here, this person here. Let's count them. Here's Michelle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Okay, hope I've got the right count. I believe I was the 7th person to disrupt this guy, Tyler Florence, during his book tour. And this was down in his hometown of Greenville, South Carolina, where he was giving a talk, ironically, to a group called, and this is pretty good, the Public Relations Society of America. They were having a conference about public relations, and they chose to include as their keynote speaker this guy, Tyler Florence, who is getting disrupted everywhere he goes because he's the celebrity ambassador for a company called Purdue Farms and Petaluma Poultry. So let's take a look here. And I want to thank Tyler, actually, because I went into this hotel, right, where he was going to give the talk. And I was worried because I thought I was going to have to listen to some of his speech. And I didn't know how much of that I was going to be able to take. because he's giving this talk about how to, keep good public relations, I assume. But he ended up just being in the lobby, which was a real gift to me. I also was kind of pressed for time, so here it is. There he is running away.
Petaluma Poultry criminally abuses animals. Other Florence cut ties with Petaluma Poultry.
So
Petaluma Poultry criminal.
So, I went there to make a friend in Tyler, Florence, and as soon as I started mentioning, Purdue's Petaluma Poultry, off he goes. He ran away. I don't know what I did wrong, but let's just say, me trying to go down there to make a friend did not go that well. Did not go that well. But anyway, Tyler, Florence, let's see. Let me stop screen sharing, remove there. So as I said, Tyler Florence is the celebrity ambassador for Petaluma Poultry. So let's watch a little bit of Petaluma Poultry, shall we? All right. And I'm not going to show all of this. This is about a 10-minute video, but let's watch a little bit of it. Exposing Purdue's Petaluma Poultry. All right. And this is a little bit more narrated, so I'll just play about a minute of this. It's about a 10-minute video.
Purdue chickens grow up healthy.
For over 50 years, Purdue has been producing advertisements to convince consumers that this is what their chicken farms look like. The reality is that this multi-billion-dollar company is engaging in criminal animal cruelty and brewing antibiotic-resistant bacteria that could create a public health crisis. Purdue owns a number of other brands and companies, including Petaluma Poultry, a corporation based in Sonoma County that has so much financial power, they've been able to control local law enforcement.
About 5 years ago, animal rescuers went to a factory farm that supplies to Petaluma Poultry and tried to rescue chickens who were dying on the floor of this factory farm. And the animal rescuers called the police because they were hoping that the police would come and try to help the animals and address the criminal animal cruelty.
Okay, I'm going to pause there. And I won't show any more of this video, but the voice that you were hearing was the voice of Zoe Rosenberg, who is facing years in prison for rescuing birds from this place. Now, if you were only listening to that, you weren't seeing some of the images of the birds, but I will describe it. So there are birds basically toppled over. They can't stand because they're so ill or malnourished or heavy. A lot of birds are basically bred to be so heavy that they can't stand up. They aren't well looked after, obviously, and you can often in these factory farms just find birds already dead and decaying or on the verge of death, and that's what we're seeing here. So anyway, Tyler Florence is the celebrity ambassador for these guys. And so yeah, it makes sense that he would be getting disrupted everywhere he goes to peddle his book, which is got pictures of steaks on the front of it. And yeah, I'm not sure who this guy really is. He's apparently a celebrity chef. That's not really my world, but he's pretty well known, I guess, in that world. Okay. So let me stop sharing that screen. Okay. So I've talked a little bit about perspective, okay? And we've got a lot of these companies who are basically playing the victim. Okay. So when I went into that hotel, of course, it was, you're welcome to have your opinion. You've got to leave. And everybody basically acting like they are being victimized by somebody just raising their voice. Okay. and the same thing in New York City. And, one of the things that happened at this hotel in South Carolina, so, I was ushered out basically, and I didn't really resist them getting me out of there. Tyler had already walked on, and there was a woman who was just ushering me out, and I just went and I just, like was making noise as I was getting out of there and just trying to raise attention for the chickens. On my poster, as you would have seen in the video if you were watching, was an image of a bird. Okay. And when they got me to the sliding doors, this guy came out who was, I guess, I don't know, the manager of the hotel or something. He came out. He was a very nice guy. Um, so I'm not throwing shade on this guy. He came out to basically say, like, this is a private event. We're going to need to ask you to leave. And of course, this guy's doing his job. So I'm not trying to make his job more difficult. I'm doing my job. He's doing his job. But one of the things I did was to open up the poster and say, just look at the bird. Like, just look at the bird. And again, this was a nice guy, but he just, of course, they wanted me out of there, which I understand. But he didn't really look at the image on the poster. And I even shook the guy's hand. And I was being very polite. And to his credit, he was being very polite as well. But he just wouldn't look at the image or engage in the conversation at all. And it's just kind of sad. Like we just live in such a world where this is so normalized, and that's why these disruptions are so important and so useful, because the idea of disruption, is to disrupt this normalized violence that is going on in our society. Um, and so for instance, let me explain like that for somebody like me. I'm fairly introverted. Um, disruptions aren't really fun for me. Like, I'm kind of making light of it a little bit. I'm trying to, have fun with it. Um, but it doesn't really come naturally to me, and I don't really like to be someone who's like yelling in a hotel. Um, but it's just so necessary that these people who would just want to go about their business harming animals and celebrating someone who's harming animals and whatever, that every now and then a little bit of a disruption in that is a good thing. All right, let me move on from disruptions. And by the way, I just want to give a massive amount of credit to all of the activists who disrupted before. And by bringing up my own disruption, I'm not trying to be all, look at me. But, it was an interesting thing that happened this week. And, but as I mentioned, 6 other activists had done it before me. So credit to them. Okay. Another thing that I want to do, is that I want to talk about this NPR story that I saw. Now, if you've come to my channel after watching or listening to the other episodes, or maybe my interview that I did with Wayne, you'll know that I've been very, very critical of NPR for failing to report on animal agriculture. And that when they do, it's usually from the perspective of human beings. Well, today, that happened again. And one of the more egregious examples of that scrolled across my social media feed today. And so we're going to do another screen share because you've got to see this. And this is exactly what I was talking about that I witnessed for 15 years at NPR. And this is why we have such a speciesist community. And let's take a look at this here. All right. Here's the story. Horse sports are a leading cause of traumatic brain injuries. Can they be made safer? So, this is a 3-minute story that NPR did. As heard on Morning Edition, it says, so that was this morning, talking about how, the riders of horses are injuring themselves by riding these horses and getting brain injuries. This is just an egregious example of NPR completely failing, completely failing. This is inexcusable. I mean, it's embarrassing. There are not words that this is just so, so bad. How can you be this bad, NPR? I can't even go back in time to when I was pretty clueless, and I just can't imagine doing this bad of work. This is atrocious work. Okay, so what am I talking about? I assume you all understand my point right now. Horses are dying because of horse racing. They don't sign up for this. Okay, we basically force them to race, then they break their legs, and then we shoot them. Okay, and here is NPR talking about, oh, could we maybe make this safer for the people abusing the horses? I mean, just the pro it's so bad. It is so bad. So, so, so bad. And this is such an example. And I'm picking on NPR because I was a part of NPR's member stations for so years. And also just because I expect more from them. These are people who work at NPR are generally pretty bright people, um, generally pretty educated, impressive people who are curious about the world, um, you know, people who want to do good. And again, just repeatedly, time and again, dropping the ball and just complete blind spotting this issue. Just complete, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just no awareness whatsoever of how they're dropping the ball. This should be a story about horses being abused, and instead it's about the riders. Can we make this safer for them? What about the horses? Now, I think that, I've been kind of ranting for this video, and I think that I'm going to end this video, but I'm going to end it on a positive note because there was more good news. Maybe my Fox friends here can help me do another nail. But let's okay, so let me stop this. Remove that. Stop screen. Okay, present. Share screen. Okay. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, here we go. Here's some good news. Take a look at this. From the Piedmont Excedra, Golden Gate Fields bows out. Storied horse track goes dark after final race this Sunday. So I'm publishing this on Saturday. Tomorrow will be the final race. So if you're looking at this, I'm going to read some of this story here because this is just such good news. Now, I want to temper this news, okay? This is a single horse racetrack closing. I don't know all the specifics, okay? I haven't read all about it. It sounds like they're consolidating their operations at Santa Anita, maybe. And so look, like horses are going to be getting hurt either way. But a horse track closing down to me is good news. And anyway, Direct Action Everywhere gets a lot of credit for this, and they're mentioned quite profusely in this story. So An animal rights group will hold a memorial protest outside Golden Gate Fields on Sunday, the Berkeley racetrack's last scheduled day of horse racing before it closes permanently. The vigil by the Berkeley-based animal rights network Direct Action Everywhere is meant to recognize horses killed since the track opened in 1941. Let me scan down a little bit. The board said in November that 17 racehorses died at Golden Gate Fields in 2023. Okay. Let me say that again. The board said in November that 17 racehorses died at Golden Gate Fields in 2023. 17 horses at one racetrack. And then there's NPR talking about, is there a way that we can make this safer for the people riding the horses? Just unbelievable. Okay. Check out this photo. This is great. There's Cassie King of the Direct Action Everywhere press team shut down Golden Gate Fields. Just amazing work. So kudos to everybody. Samantha Fay, Cassie King, kudos to everybody who worked to make this happen. And this is just incredible. So I wanted to end on a good note. This will be a little bit of a shorter video. This was a long week, I will say. I do want to read a comment on one of my videos. So let me do that as well. Let me see if I can bring it up here. I'm sorry, this is not the most fascinating of videos that I've made. Maybe I don't have it up. Oh yeah, here we do. Here we got. Okay, so this is on my first video that I published on YouTube called Who the Fuck Am I? Or Who the Fuck is This Guy? Where I told my story. And this was posted by a guy named Ryan, who says that I went to r/vegan. I think he's talking about Reddit. I'm not really sure, but I think he means like a Reddit thread. I went to r/vegan and posted an AMA saying I am a Catholic vegan and why. More than 75% of the comments were demeaning and vitriolic just because I am religious. Every comment I made, even simple vegan sentiments, was downvoted to oblivion. I ended up deleting every comment and my post entirely. It certainly made me second guess if I want to be associated with vegans as a whole. I remain vegan almost 10 years, but I am no longer in that sub, nor do I have any vegan friends. Activists. I told some people this week that I was going to address some of the controversy in our movement surrounding religious beliefs over various conflicts. I don't know what to say, guys. We have to stop vilifying each other. This guy, Ryan, telling me that whenever this was, that he was just explaining that he was a Catholic vegan and getting vilified for that. That's just unacceptable. Like, I don't understand why we would engage in such self-destructive behavior. I said to him, sorry, Ryan, disappointing to hear you were attacked for your religious beliefs, especially considering you all had something very significant in common. I'm glad you had the maturity to keep doing right by the animals, even though it sounds as though many of your peers didn't do right by you. Ryan responded, thank you for your thoughtful response. I did not become vegan because of vegans, and I certainly won't stop being vegan because of vegans. My goal is to cause the least harm possible, and I am doing my best to improve myself to work toward that goal each day. I certainly appreciate sensible vegans like yourself. It makes me feel a bit less isolated. Ryan, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. You make me also feel less isolated for sharing your story and being so kind and thoughtful and just talking about the experience that you've had. And I am just so sorry that that has happened. It's happened to people a lot. It reminds me of how I felt when I sort of went, when the first thing that I did when I learned about animal agriculture and watched Earthlings and Dominion, the first thing that I did almost was to go on the Daily Coast blog and post the film Dominion. And I got banned from the website after a couple of hours when people were responding with real defensiveness and negativity. And I just all I kept saying was, watch the film, watch the film, watch the film, over and over again. It was basically my only response, and the website banned me from the web from there. And I felt so disillusioned from the sort of like progressive community that, wow, I thought that people in this community wanted to learn. I thought they wanted the truth. I thought they wanted to learn more and to do good. And I just found that that wasn't the case, and that we had a lot more work to do. Since then, I have seen that the vegan community can turn on each other very quickly. We vilify each other very, it's sometimes like our go-to response before even attempting to understand each other. And that is wrong. And I have done it. Others have done it to me. And we shouldn't do that. Again, I kind of have been ending a lot of my videos by sounding like this kumbaya guy, which I am not. As I said in my last video, I can be very harsh at times, but I do realize that the way that we achieve liberation for the animals in the fastest way, in my belief, is by working together and accepting each other, even when we don't necessarily share all the same beliefs. And I just find it disappointing that you dealt with that, even though you were in a community of people where, in my opinion, some of the most fundamental values you all shared, which was peace, nonviolence, and compassion. And so I just want to end on that. And thank you, Ryan. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to end this one shorter. And thanks for tuning in. Till next time. Oh, wait, before I go, weren't we going to do another nail? Yeah, okay. I don't have any horses, okay? But we should do a nail for the horse racing industry. Okay. Let's do one more. Okay. There's the nail. Okay. Who's going to do the honors this time? Okay, let's do Mama instead. Okay. Oh, crap. I just hit my microphone with the hammer. That's not good. All right. Here's Mama with the hammer. This is for the horses. Let's put a nail in that industry. Okay. It's not going so well. Okay. Maybe it wasn't the biggest win. Let's get it. Golden Gate Fields is closed. Oh, crap. Okay. Anyway, you get the point. The people who could not see that, that's better. The people who saw that, I am embarrassed and ashamed, and I apologize. And I'll do better next time. I'm sorry.